Environment. General Studies 3 carrying 250 marks is split up between economy, agriculture, science, technology and environment, internal security, disaster management. Before I go into the topic as such, for the sake of repetition, I would like to tell everybody, please keep going through the syllabus again and again. Go through all the components. So now, like I'm doing GS3. See what are the components of economy, components of agriculture, components of science, technology, environment. Similarly, internal security, disaster management. Once you know the components of the syllabus, preparing becomes very easy. And as I told you, lot of repetition is there in the syllabus between GS2, GS3. So any standard preparation will mean not hard work but smart work. Coming to the topic of discussion today, we've taken a topic on GS3 environment. The open burning of crop residues in agricultural fields is an environmental concern. Suggest ways to address this issue. So this particular question, what the examiner wants to know from you is a brief factual introduction on what this crop residue burning, where is it concentrated in, what are the consequences. This will be just a part of the answer. The main part of the answer would be ways to address this issue. That is, what measures you can adopt, what measures you can, suggestions you can take. So in suggestions, I have split up the answer into two: general suggestions, then the initiatives taken by the government. So with the introductory part, open burning of crop residues is common during the paddy harvest season in Rajasthan, UP, Haryana and Punjab. So these are the northern states which witness the open burning of crop residues. What are these crop residues? 50% of it are residue of rice crop. See, the economic survey says 178 metric ton of surplus crop residues are available. See the magnitude of the crop residues which are available, and senseless burning, how it is affecting the environment. Consequences: rise in pollutant levels. We have seen the rise in pollutant levels in the states, and consequently spreading to other places like the NCR, National Capital Region of Delhi. This crop residue burning also affects soil fertility, then it affects the soil organic formation. The crop residue burning is particularly prevalent from the first week of November, leading to an increase in particulate matter in New Delhi. So these are the consequences in brief. I said rise in pollutant levels, effects on the soil, increase in particulate matter in the National Capital Region of Delhi. Now, ways to address. The Economic Survey, Volume 2, lists the following steps which could be taken for tackling the menace of open burning of crop residues. The first suggestion is machineries. See, one machineries to help sow seeds of the next crop. Now, what happens with mechanization? You can sow the seeds of the next crop without affecting crop production and helping to sustain the productivity of the crop. Ex situ utilization of crop dues. How the crop due residues can be utilized. Then markets for crop residue. So in this, what the economic survey mentions, see, this crop residue can be used in thermal power plants, Then biomass depots. So you can create biomass depots for storage of crop residues. The fourth suggestion, special credit line for financing farm equipment and working capital for private sector participation. Local industries like dabas, brick kilns can use this as alternative fuel. Finally, one more reform which you can suggest is incentives to states and union territories for combating this open burning of crop residues, that is preventing them. Which state performs better in combating this shall be suitably incentivized. So these are the steps suggested by the second volume 2 of the economic survey. Apart from this, I'd like to add the government initiatives in this regard. The first initiative being the National Green Tribunal. Now, how did the National Green Tribunal come about? You might have seen the Supreme Court, in its liberal interpretation of Article 21, has said, right to life and liberty means right to clean environment. So it has given a very broad definition, broad interpretation of the right to life and liberty. In consonance with the judgment of the Supreme Court, the government established the National Green Tribunal. So the National Green Tribunal, through various judgments like polluter pays principle, has helped in checking the people who pollute the environment, and in fact even this polluter pays principle, especially in my state of Karnataka in Bangalore, how the NGT has been able to levy heavy fines on the people polluting the local streams, how the NGT has given directions for setting up treatment plants and other things. So in government initiatives, first, the National Green Tribunal. Apart from this, there is a national policy for management of crop residues. What is this national policy? Now in this national policy, burning crop residue is a crime under section 188 of the IPC and under the Air Act and Pollution Control Act. So now the National Policy for Management of Crop Residues makes burning of residues a cognizable offence by designating it as a crime under section 188 of the IPC and under the relevant acts. The third important initiative of government is the Central Sector Scheme for Equipment. So under the Central Sector Scheme for Equipment, assistance is given to farmers for buying equipment like mulchers, paddy straw choppers with sufficient subsidy. So under the Central Sector Scheme for Equipment, the farmers are incentivized to buy equipment. These equipment can, like the super straw muncher, then the paddy straw chopper, all this will help in clearing the residue of the crop. Finally, what I would like to add is, see, India's national agenda mirrors the special development goals and its policies, ensuring balance between three pillars of development. We are committed to the SDGs. So what are the three SDGs which we are committed to? Economic, social, and environmental. So environmental is an important concept of development. So now what is required in this is there should be high standards of governance, monitoring, and implementation at all levels. So high standard of governance, monitoring, implementation at all levels to tackle this particular problem of crop residue burning, which is affecting the environment. So for a question of 200 words on this particular topic of burning of crop residues, first I dealt with an introduction saying that where this particular phenomena is prevalent. I mentioned the states of Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, and UP. And I also said 50% of crop residue is related to residue of rice crop. Now, with a brief mention of the consequences, we went to the reforms. What suggestions you can offer? I said I have based my suggestions on the volume 2 of the report, Economic Survey. In this, I mentioned 5 or 6 suggestions: mechanization, then how the crop residue can be used in local industries. I said incentivization to states and union territories, which play a dominant role in checking this environmental issue. And I also said how markets can be developed for crop residue. Then even the solutions, I also added the government initiatives. First, we spoke of the important role of NGT. Then you can also mention the ruling of the Supreme Court, which said every individual has the right to free and clean environment under Article 21. Then we spoke of the National Policy for Management of Crop Residues, which makes burning residues a cognizable offence under the IPC. Then central sector schemes for purchase of equipment. Finally, I concluded my answer by saying that India is committed to the SDGs. And in the SDGs ensure balance between 3 pillars of development: economic, social, and environmental. Now, for combating an issue like this relating to environment, there should be high standards of governance, monitoring, implementation at all levels. So this will sum up the answer for this particular question in GS3 environment. So for the additional reading matter for environment, what I suggest is go to the website of the Ministry of Environment and Forests, download the latest annual report. So this annual report of the MOEF is going to help you for the prelim, and it will also help you for the main. Apart from the annual report of the MOEF, I also suggest going through volume 2 of the Economic Survey. Economic Survey, there are issues relating to economy, issues relating to agriculture, issues relating to environment. So basing your answer on the Economic Survey will keep you in a better position, and the content of the Economic Survey, it is in very simple English. So reading it twice or thrice, you will be able to get a feel of the subject. Thank you.